on why it's detrimental to renew your mortgage every 5 years, as we do in Canada. Stay tuned. If you find my content at all enjoyable, please share it, subscribe to it, comment on it. I love answering questions, and I'm happy to do it. And let's get into it. It's really detrimental to renew your mortgage every 5 years like we do in Canada, because you don't know what the rates are going to be in 5 years. You see, argument. Back in 2022, when all of the cheap money was available, I don't know if you remember, in Canada, it was like 2%, 2.25%. And it was really amazing. And people went out there and they borrowed, and they, got lines of credit. They borrowed against their house. They refinanced their mortgages, all fine and dandy. However, after 5 years, in 2027, what's going to happen is, as it's happening, is that the interest rates have gone up since that time. And people are going to have to refinance their house at a higher rate. The Bank of Canada right now is actually thinking of cutting the interest rate by a quarter point. Hopefully that'll come in on Thursday. But it's a double-edged sword, because as they decrease the interest rates, less investment comes into Canada. And the people, it's an indicator of the people are just getting poorer. You see, inflation and interest rates go hand in hand. And these are the only two instruments left for our government to penalize us with, because that's exactly what it is, just a penalty to borrow. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is, in 2027, when people go to refinance and the rates go up even a couple of points, this could suck out the liquidity in your pocket. And because of that, you're going to have less money to spend. You see, in the last 2-3 years, people have taken on more debt. People have lost their jobs. Hours have been cut. They'll say that the tariffs took effect, inflation took effect, but at the end of the day, by and large, Canadians are poorer as they were back in 2022. And everybody feels that pinch. I'm going up a hill right now, so I'm getting a little bit out of breath. Woo-wee! But so what's happening is, as the people take on more and more debt, what happens is, if they miss a payment, if they're late on a payment, it's reported to their credit. And when your credit rating starts to go down, it is a trigger for the banks and institutions and lenders to increase your interest rate. In turn, taking more money out of your pocket. This is done by design. The banking system in Canada, because it is only owned by 5 banks, used to be 6, but HSBC sold to the Royal Bank, and now we have 5. But there's only a couple of lending houses that lend to the mortgage sector. And these companies will take every opportunity to increase your rates. So when you think about, okay, I'm going to go and lease a car, or I'm going to get Klarna, and I'm going to go pay as you go, these are instruments to allow you to make a misstep in your payment. And as soon as you do that, your interest rates go up. You see, in Canada, we only have 2 companies that we report our credit to, Equifax and TransUnion. These two companies are the gatekeepers of what you pay in interest. So if you have bad credit, TransUnion and Equifax, they pull your report. Next thing you know, boom, you get, instead of getting 3% or 4% on your interest for your house, you're at 7 or 8%. And it's by design. They want to take all the money out of your pocket, not just a little bit, they want all of it. And so if you refinance your mortgage every 5 years, that means you start at the interest part of your loan. See, for a 5-year mortgage, you're looking at the first 3 years are just interest payments. The last 2, you might hit some principal. And they want you in that continued cycle, because for the banks, they make a lot of money in those first 3 years. They sure do. Look at what RBC and Bank of Nova Scotia, these are the 2 top lenders in Canada, see what their stock prices are 5 years ago. And you will be astonished about how much money these guys make. And it's because they know that Canadians are stretched thin. They're stretched so thin. And it's because Canadians, we like to show off. That's the problem in Canada. And we all want to seem like we've made it. We're doing a great job and we're providing. But the fact of the matter is, when you don't own property, when you don't own your car, you lease your car or you mortgage your home, you're not the owner. And a lot of people think that they're the owner. Like they say, oh, I live in a $2 million house. No. You just happen to be there at that time. If you miss 2 payments on that mortgage, it's gone. They don't care what reason you have. They don't care that you got cancer. They don't care that you've been looking after your old ailing parents. They don't care about nothing. All they want is their payment. And if you can't pay them, what they'll do is they'll take your house. You're going to see in the next year to 18 months, more houses come up for foreclosure than you've ever seen in the history of the housing market in Canada. The only reason I tell you this is because I'm 54 years old, I don't have any debt, and I coach people on how to not be in debt. And so what I really want to people to understand is that if you are in a heavy mortgage and it comes up for renewal, next time renew for longer than 5 years, if you can. Because the uncertainty that's coming to the Canadian waters is unbelievable about what's going to happen. There is about 150,000 units for sale in Ontario alone. And that is, an astronomical amount of inventory. And the only reason that there is so much inventory is because people are greedy. They don't want to give their house to what it's worth. They want to make money on it. And not everybody makes money in real estate. When I was in my 30s, I bought a house, or a building actually, and I lost $475,000. Okay? And the reason I'm able to talk to you about these sort of things is because I have my boots on the ground experience. I know exactly what the market is going to bring you because I've lived through 3 real estate cycles. I watched my dad lose all of his properties in the early 90s, and then in 2000s, and then 2008, and then right now. See, we haven't recovered from 2008. We just think we have because we're listening to the government, which is massaging the numbers. The numbers in actual fact are really, really horrible. There is more inventory, not enough buyers, and the only reason that people can't sell is because they're asking too much money for it. If they lowered their price, they'd sell their house, but they're not going to. And that's why I call it a Ponzi scheme. Whoever's living in the city, I suggest that you leave the city and go and buy land, not just property, land, right? My wife and I, we live on 40 acres and it's paid off, no mortgage. And the reason that I give you this advice is because if you stay in the city has instruments, right? And the instruments there is high taxes, parking tickets, you have to pay for water, you have to pay for garbage removal, you have to pay for water, rain tax, because you're using the sewers now. There's in Mississauga or Burlington is starting to do this. Now, you see how many taxes are on you in the city? And you just don't even know it because nobody's ever sat down and told you about it. But all these are taxes that nibble away at your worth, your net worth. And when you come to the country and you buy land and you drill a well, and then now that well will give you water for 10, 15, 20 years. Our well on our property is a hand-dug well from the original guy that lived here. The original guy who lived here for 92 years. Anyway, he dug the well, his parents dug the well, and that well is still active. The house was made in 1812, and the well is still here. We never have a water payment. We don't have a garbage disposal payment because we burn all of our garbage. We recycle and we burn the rest of it. But this whole talk was why it's detrimental to refinance your mortgage every 5 years, and that is because you have to start from zero when it comes to interest. The first 3 years are interest payments, and the last 2, you might hit some principal. If you find my podcasts enjoyable at all, please subscribe. And I would love to get my numbers up so that I can share more knowledge with the younger generation that are coming up. See, a lot of people are telling you that it's doom and gloom and the younger generation won't buy a house and all that. It's all bullshit. You have the same opportunity as everyone else, as long as you're smart with your finances, you're smart with the way that you take on debt, okay? And you stop leasing stuff. Stop leasing and renting and all that shit. It's just pissing your money away. What I want you to do is start saving as much as you can, start stacking. And in 2027, when all of the cheap money has run out and people have to refinance their houses, you're going to find houses for pennies on the dollar. Believe me when I tell you this, because it's happened to me twice, and this is the reason why I'm debt-free today. Talk to you soon. Yeah.